Today, Dr. Chant and I are going to strongly recommend that people wear masks in certain circumstances. There are 4 key areas where we want people to wear masks. Firstly, if you're in an enclosed space and you can't guarantee social distancing, such as on public transport, such as when you're buying your groceries, you should be wearing a mask. We also would like to see more staff who are customer-facing wearing masks, whether they're in hospitality venues or whether they're in retail. Whenever they're facing customers, we strongly recommend that they wear masks. If you're attending a place of worship, we want you to wear a mask. If you're attending a church, a synagogue or a mosque, we would like you to wear a mask. And finally, if you are in an area where there's high community transmission or a number of cases, we want you to wear a mask. So they're the 4 key areas where we're strongly recommending people wear masks. I want to stress it's not compulsory, but it is a strong recommendation from health, given where we are in the pandemic, given the risk posed from Victoria and given the rate of community transmission in New South Wales, that whether you're in an enclosed space and you can't guarantee social distancing, you should be wearing a mask. If you're a staff member, and we know a lot of companies have already provided that advice to their employees, but if you're in an organisation or an enterprise which is customer-facing and you're having a lot to do with customers, we would like to see you wearing a mask. If you're going to a place of worship, we'd like to see you wearing a mask. And also, if you live in an area where there's known cases and there's community transmission, we would like you to wear a mask. Now, this strong recommendation we're asking occur from tomorrow. Again, it is not compulsory, but can I thank the community for taking the advice we've provided. I myself, next time from tomorrow when I go grocery shopping, I will be wearing a mask. If I was to catch a train or a bus, I would choose to wear a mask. And if my community had high rates or increasing rates of community transmission, I would be wearing a mask. So these are recommendations to keep all of us safe, and they're recommendations to make sure we keep New South Wales in the position we're in. I can't stress enough how critical the next few weeks are. When we learned of how critical the situation was in Victoria, we said, New South Wales would require extra vigilance over a 4 to 6 week period. We're about halfway through that period. We are holding the line and doing okay, but I can't stress enough that the next few weeks will make or break us in terms of the way we get through this pandemic. And that's why I'm urging everybody to take this advice and to make sure that you're well equipped, well aware, well informed to deal with the situation that is arising. Please note that the health advice is evolving. I know it might sound concerning when there's a number of venues being identified where that people may have been exposed, but that's a good thing. It means our health detectives are doing their job. It means we're able to get information out to the community almost immediately. As soon as the health detectives work out that a case or a suspected case has been exposed at a particular venue, the fact we're getting that information out there is a positive. But please also know that once those venues have been deep cleaned, once those venues have been deemed to be COVID safe, it is okay to go back to those venues. So the information we give out is to make sure everybody is aware, everybody gets tested. And as Dr. Chant will explain, wearing a mask is your 4th line of defence. It does not mean you shouldn't social distance, quite the opposite. Wearing a mask is the 4th line of defence. The 1st line of defence is if you even have the slightest symptom or you've been asked to get tested and stay isolated for 14 days. Secondly, you have to social distance no matter where you are, 1.5 metres, no exceptions for anybody. You have to keep that social distance. You have to keep up your hand hygiene. These are the things you need to do regardless of whether you're wearing a mask or not, and the mask is actually the next line of defence. It shouldn't replace any of those other things. You have to be just as careful. But a mask is that 4th line of defence. And so can I urge everybody to please keep doing what you're doing, because the vast majority of our citizens are doing a wonderful job in being alert, in being extra cautious, in minimising their activity, and I'm pleased to hear that people are taking that extra level of caution, because as I said, if we get through the next few weeks, the way in which we are, we have very good prospects of having a better experience during the pandemic than otherwise. And our geographic proximity to Victoria is always a concern.